Okay, I don't know about you. However, I do like to review my business for the whole year, how the year went, what was the challenge, what was the roller coaster, and how did we recover from that. However, that gives us the opportunity to look back and learn some lessons and share it with others so we all can get benefit from each other. In any business, there are so many components. One of the component I deal with, which is really backbone of this whole new thing I'm saying is that's called chatbot. When you send a message to someone on a Facebook on their page, guess what? They start talking to you automatically. You think the Siddique is running 24/7. No, I'm not. It's a mini Siddique running on my behalf because I train them what to say. When you ask the same question, I will give you the same answer. Why should type a repetitive task? Everything is programmed. That's called chat bot. Bot is all automated. And for that purpose, now I'm giving my secret away. And I don't work with anybody else except my guest today is Jon. Jon, please, thank you so much, first of all, taking a time in this holiday time. And welcome. And please share with us your 2017 review, which has goods and bads and ugly moments of, in a very short time. And then we are going to look for what you're looking forward to at 2018. So let's start from I'm listening.
Yeah, sure. And thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. I really love my time I get to spend with you, and your audience, mostly with you because you're so awesome. But I love your audience as well. And Merry late Christmas. So I'm getting on topic on chatbot. So 2017, just a crazy exciting year for chatbots. I mean, unless you're somebody like me, hey, can you come back later and do that later, 30 minutes. Unless you're somebody like me that is into engineering, come back later. You go. So unless you're sorry about that, they're trying to clean my office right now. Unless you're somebody like me that's really into engineering and really into programming, before 2017, you most likely had no clue what a chatbot was or what a bot was in general. So bots have been around for a really long time, but not on Facebook. Okay, bots have been around for a long time, and you gave a really good explanation, more or less, of what a bot is. It's a software program that does an automation. So a chatbot specifically, most of what the chatbots do is they carry out communications on your behalf. Now, bots in general can carry out communications, and they can also perform some repetitive tasks that you really don't want to perform yourself. But specifically a chatbot, that's a bot that's geared up just to communicate on your behalf and answer questions or give out textual, visual, some type of content on your behalf. So like I said, bots have been around for a real long time. I remember my first bots that I built on Python, and some of the first bots that I built was actual just macros, just recordings, and they would literally be like, my first bot, I built a Facebook bot in one of my first bots, and it was just a macro that would go and read two different files that would contain first names and last names, and basically create random email addresses and then sign up for Facebook accounts with just that macro. So
you have an evil mind for a long time.
Automation, I've been loving automation. Like you said, why would I mean, if I want more time, if I want more money, I need most of the time more time to make that more money, right?
Absolutely.
So if I want more time, then I've got two options. I can either just I got maybe three options. I can create some complex machine that, breaks all the known laws of physics and just creates random time. Or more realistically, I could either hire more people or, work more, or I could just spend less time doing stuff that I'm already doing and absorb that time, right? So obviously the automation is great. So yeah, I've always had that mind to automate and not do repetitive things. So if you're not me, then you have no clue what a chatbot is, what a piece of software is, how to build one. But here comes 2017, right? So 2017 creeps up. Facebook really starts to announce and really actually release their API to the real world as developers, right? And really starts to promote and say, hey, in the background, we've been creating this API that allows you to use our API to send messages on your behalf. So now this happens, the whole development world, they're like, oh shit, right? Like, this is big. Facebook has given us, this is huge, right? So now who cares about that initial 2017? Just people like me, other developers, guys that run software companies like me, software companies, independent developers. We're really all excited about that. So now what we do is we start developing stuff, right? Now you fast forward to middle of 2017. Now people like me and other companies like my company have developed these platforms that allow you to interact with these APIs in a non-programmatic way, right? In a drag and drop scenario, or just in some little builder where you don't actually have to write code. So now the whole, not even the whole world, because even you yourself know, like these chatbots are still, they are so trendy. And we'll get into that in a little bit whenever we foresee what's coming for next year, right? But now you start getting the early adapters where they start to realize the huge power of these chatbots, right? The huge power of this automation through Facebook itself. So now these guys are in, let's say, the NWO, the New World Order, the guys that are progressive thinkers.
NWO, New World Order. Okay, I never heard this one.
Correct. The progressive.
Not in this business world, the New World Order.
Right. Well, you typically only hear that NWO in religion, right? The New World Order or a one religion, but essentially it's the progressive thinkers, the people who are looking past today's. How do I do this today? How do you do what the chatbot does today? Well, essentially in a few ways. You either get on the phone, you have some person who gets on the phone and has a physical conversation with somebody, or you have some person who reads some email and responds back to an email and sends out an email. That's today's traditional business communication. Now you enter in a chatbot, and now what do? You define some logics, and with those logics, you define some generic messages. You foresee all the questions and all the things you could be talking to about your potential client or your potential lead, and you pre-populate the information because you already do that. I mean, even those people on the phones are sending out the emails, even they're looking up in some knowledge base or they're reading some script and just slightly altering that, right? So now you got these progressive thinkers who are like, well, I can see how we do it today, but this new way of doing it, this could be revolutionary, right? So now these guys start getting real excited and this happens, middle of 2017, where you get these early adopters, these NWO type people, these progressive type people who see, because before that, the people like me and companies like my company, other software firms or other developers are like, this is freaking awesome. This is going to change how business is really done. Because think about it. Facebook has really came out of nowhere, and they came out of nowhere to now it's a standard, right? If you want to learn about a business, you look them up on Facebook. And if they're not on Facebook, every person, they begin to subconsciously question the authority and the legitimacy of that business. If they're a real business, why they're not on Facebook, right? You don't have a Facebook page, you can't be a real business. Either you're not a real business, or you don't have the actual manpower to even manage your own page. And if you don't have a manpower to do Facebook, how can you work for me and do my work, right? So now that we realize, hey, this is going to change the world, now we go and start developing these tools. We introduce bots. Now these early adapters come in, and now what they do is basically in the last half of 2017, they provide like this beta tester, this ultimate beta tester frontier, where now everybody's in these platforms that, all these other companies or developers like me, they've realized this is going to change business and the way that people interact with their customers, because Facebook has released this. We build some tools, we release some tools that early adopters come in, they start actually using these tools, and now they start populating Facebook with all these chatbots, right? Now, the more that they get, the more other people, they interact with them, they see them, and they're like, hey, I want one for my business. And these NWO type people, they start increasing. So that's kind of where we're at in today's stand, okay? In today's stand, let's say the average business owner is unaware about a chatbot. Even in today's stand, I could say that not the average business, but if we understand this bell curve, right, the standard bell-shaped normalized distribution, we could say that the average person understands email marketing and customer segmentation, but outside of that average 70%, these guys on that side, they don't even understand that yet, right? They still don't understand the importance of having an email list and collecting information about your customers, so that later on sometime you can contact them and say, hey, remember you bought from me back then? Would you like to buy again? Or, you remember me? You want to refer a friend to me? A lot of people still don't even actually understand that. So where we're at in today's world is not that many people. It's just the NWO type people. It's just the progressive thinkers that really actually understand what a chatbot is, and more importantly, understand why they must have one and why they should be getting one now.
Yeah.
before it's too late. And it will never be too late. But I mean, you think about it in business. If something new and shiny comes out and then I adopt to it and my clientele, they're like, yeah, this new shiny thing is over here at business A. Well, now even if every other business reproduces this thing, even most people are going to know this guy had it first and they're going to attribute. Now, some of them may flock to someone else, but they're still going to know that, hey, this guy was the first in the game. These guys are late in the game, right? So you always want to be that first person, right? Especially in the time factor. So think of all the guys that understood the value of an email list and they started creating it whenever they did business versus the guy.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have an NWO guy. I came on this chatbot in June 2017. I did not have a clue. Good friend of mine, Andrew Warner from Mixology, Chatbot Academy. I saw his email. I said, you know what? If he is up to something, I need to jump on that one. And then I learned myself half-baked 1% of the knowledge, not more than 1%, probably less than 1%. I'm giving too much credit to myself, okay? And I used it even still. At the time of this recording, I'm using the same or maybe a little bit better than the 1%. We did a multi-million-dollar from that one. That's the power of being an NWO.
Hey, that's right. And I've seen one of your chatbots. I know you got a lot of them that you're actually using. And you just imagine if you would have started using that chatbot 6 months before you actually did, what would be your subscriber list? What would be that list of people? How much additional revenue and sales could you generate?
Myself, why? Because I didn't do it, you know?
Yeah, it's insane, right? So you want to be that early adopter. And where we're at right now in today's age is it's still the NWO type. It's still the real progressive people. Like even I help people all the time and I train people in bots. I train people how to build bots. I even train people how to start their own companies and sell bots as a service. All right. So even those guys that I'm training, hey, how to do this how to start your own company around this new trend and how to make money just by building these bots and not even building them, just by getting the contracts and actually outsourcing the build to somebody else who can build it. Even those guys, they're having a disadvantage right now in the initial sale, right? Because it's not so easy to get their target client, their lead, to really understand what the bot is and what the real value of it is, because it's such a new thing, right? No, it's not something these guys, the average business owner, like I said, has never even heard of it before. They haven't heard it. They haven't experienced it. So it's hard for them to wrap their head around. But that's going to change. That's going to change really, really quick. But like I said, that's kind of where we're at now.
Oh, wonderful. John, what was the biggest challenge in this whole thing? Because when you're bleeding edge, you bleed many times yourself, okay? You're not watching somebody else bleed. So share with us something where you recovered and then you enjoyed you are glad you failed on that one. Why? Because that's how we all learn a lesson. That's how my way of learning a lesson. So what was
Sure. So for me, there's a couple. For me, there's a couple of those things. I would say the biggest pain point for me, and the biggest thing that's really hurt me, has been just development, just Facebook itself. I mean, remember, like I said, they're just now starting to release this API and allow us to build on it. And they're constantly changing it. They're changing the API itself. They're changing the way the API works. And they're also changing the terms of service. So every time they change this terms of service, our best practices have to change. Every time they change the API, then not necessarily do our best practices have to change, but our actual practices. We actually have to go in and physically modify lines of code, right? So that's a huge pain point. Luckily, that's starting to get more stable now, and Facebook's now the API is used and built out enough where they have stable versions of it. They actually have an open beta that's in a stable version that now mitigates most of those. I mean, they go in and update their API. I'd still have to make code changes, but I only have to make code changes when I want to replace and upgrade to the new version of their API.
Yeah, it has an old compatibility. Yeah.
Correct. So that has been one of the biggest pain points, is just all those changes on Facebook side. Another big pain point has been, obviously, just the selling of, because even myself, part of what we do here as a company, it's not a huge percentage of what we do, but part of what we do is the bot build. So, and that's a new model that we're taking in our business. And that's something that we're really going to focus on ourselves in 2018, is really developing more of what we do as our core service offering to be bot driven. All right. So in the initial growing of that whole new line of basically product that we offer for our company, the the biggest issue, like I said, has been Facebook and the fact that they're still in development of their API. But the fact that this is still so new, terms of service are changing, and the average client doesn't really actually understand things. So it's a much harder sell right now because you have to physically spend a lot more time. Like if I tell the average business owner, look, I'm going to help you grow your email list and I'm going to help you really make more money. They understand that, right? Most of them understand what an email list is, why it's important. So it makes my selling much easier because you're already relating to what I'm talking about, right? Now, if I come up and say, hey, look, I'm going to get your chatbot built, you're like, first off, what is a bot? So exactly. So now I have to make you understand this. Now my ability to sell you this service is limited by my ability to make you understand what the hell I'm talking about. So that's been another burden. But
enough challenges. So one thing happened in 2017 is we met each other, and you don't know me enough yet. I will keep you enough busy. I'm telling you right now. And the number two is, how the 2018 outlook look like in chatbot and in growth of your business, and what are the things you are going to move forward into the next in 2018?
So I'll kind of give you two answers to that question. I'll kind of give you an answer that is relative to me and my business, and I'll give you an answer that's relative to a generalized business and all our viewers and the businesses that they own. So for me, 2018, I think for anybody, whether my business or your business or our viewers' business, I think 2018 is a very, very exciting year, and there's a lot of potential there, okay, with chatbots themselves, because Facebook has done this shit. Excuse my French, but they have done this shit, and they have released it, and they have made it clear to us that this is now a thing, and you can rely on this thing. All right. And we've seen in Facebook, whenever they're interested in something, they just go in and they acquire companies, right? They start acquiring companies to make things. So as far as 2018, it looks great in our possibilities. They're going to release more updates. They're going to allow us to do more things. Most likely they'll allow us to get into actual group chats and have people add our bots into groups. That way they can have really more functional bots, because you'll need that, right? You have a group of people and they all want to come up with some plans. So now they can create a group chat, invite our plan bot that can go in and get data from everybody. And then in the background, crunch that data and say, hey, here's what your itinerary should be because of all the data that we've got from all these members. So they'll most definitely probably start building that and allow us to work on that. So as far as the development, the API is now in a stable version. Development's great. They're going to continue to develop it. So that's great. Looks exciting for us on the chatbot side. As far as relative to my company, we've got several different plans. So we're building out a whole service industry inside our own company. We're building out a whole team and a whole subunit that's going to focus strictly in bot building. And that segmented, let's say a new company, a new branch office is just going to be focused strictly on bot development. And it's going to be broken down into two different segments: bot development, and which is done in some open source, some third-party tool like ManyChat or like ChatFuel, some builder, and bot development that's just a complete custom build that's done on some language like Node or something. So we're really going to, and then we got training. So we're doing, our company is actually releasing training modules to train people. If you really think that your time is better spent building bots for yourself, then take the training, build them yourself. Or at least, even if you don't. So if you're smart enough to realize that your time is not best built implementing, it's best built in architecting, right? That's who gets paid the big butt. The architect gets paid a bunch of money to make a plan, and then all the dudes that actually go in and build that thing get paid much less money, and they're looked at as a lot less valuable because they can't formulate plans. They can only execute plans that somebody else came. So if you're fortunate enough to realize that you should be formulating ideals and not executing plans, then you still want to understand enough about chatbots to make sure that the company that you're hiring isn't joshing you. They're not pulling your leg. They're not ripping you off. If you're starting your own bot company, that you know how to sell the thing because you understand enough about it. So we've got that training module that we're gonna further develop, and then like I said, we're going in and branching out and offering this as it's going to be one of our core services. Right now, we offer only a core service of software engineering, so this is going to be our other core service because it's still kind of like software engineering. So from a business perspective, though, what could you do in 2018 that could really change your business and really revolutionize your business? Okay. One, if you don't have a bot, start building it. Get in right now. Start building your bot today,
yesterday,
right?
you're missing out something. Yes.
Correct. Start doing that, because you can grow that list of subscribers that you can instantly contact anytime you want, right? Until they say, hey, don't contact me anymore. But start building today. Get your bot out there and start building today. All right. And so if you already have a bot, then great, you've already started. If you don't have a bot at all, start today, start immediately. If you can't start today, and there's a good reason for that, then you better start tomorrow. Start as soon as possible, because the longer you wait, the deeper in the hole that you're going to be, that you have to dig out of before you can just reach the surface. And we don't want to be on the surface, right? We want to be up here at the top of the building that's built on top of the surface. So to get on top of that building, you got to build. You don't want to start from a hole and have to dig yourself out of a hole just to start building the building you want to stand on top of. So now, once you start, or if you've started already, then what you need to do is you really need to take some time as a business owner. And I've noticed, honestly, what I do is I do high-level conversations all day, every day. That's most of what I do. I don't do any real work than other just talk to people and let them use my brain power, right? And what I've realized, and I've been doing this as a project manager for 7 years. I've ran my own company for the last 3 years. So I have quite a bit of experience in this. And what I've noticed, and I work mostly with business owners, and what I've noticed is most business owners they don't deserve to be business owners, because they don't invest enough time in their own business, and they don't know enough information about their own business. They don't know what their employees are doing. They don't know what standard processes are being done on an everyday basis. So you take advantage of 2018 and you start to map out all the roles that you have, right? I realize in so many businesses that in my philosophy and how we've modeled this business is we're not person dependent. We are role dependent. All right. So our entire company is role dependent. And there is a process in which we can take a person and we can put them into a role, and we can train them and gauge them, right? Not just train them, but we can audit them and grade them according to performance standards for that role. So that if that person leaves, we can bring another person, put them through process, and have them fulfilling that role. And I notice in a lot of businesses, they don't have that. You ask them a question, how does this get done? How do you process a new customer? I don't know. Sherry does all that. Well, how does Sherry do it? I don't know. We have to go talk to Sherry. Okay, well, Sherry quit. She doesn't work here anymore. Now what? Right? And why do you need all this information? One, it's very important as a business owner. Two, you need to start to gather this information so we can build it into the bot, so we can look at all these redundant, repetitive things, because that's where I'm going to make you a lot of money. I will make you a lot of money by saving you a lot of time. And maybe our viewers don't, but if I save you a minute a day, and if I save you a minute a transaction, right, and your person can do 100 transactions a day, I just saved you 100 minutes. Now I'm also eliminating the person and replacing it with a bot who can do an infinite amount of transactions simultaneously. And I'm going to save a minute per transaction. I just saved you an infinite amount of time. How much do you value an infinite amount of time at? A lot, right? Yeah. So get to know your own business and start to map out the common functions and the common things that you identify in your business that you're doing that a bot could do, that a bot could automate, or a bot could help you with. And if you struggle with that, then try to network. Either find a professional like me that you can just pay some money, or join some group on Facebook and find professionals like me and experts like me who are just like me and will help you for free, because you join my group. Or if you're just in his group right there, if you're in Squiddle's group, I'll help you for free too, because he's my guy and we help each other for free because we understand the value of that business relationship. So if you can't do it on your own, find some people that are really knowledgeable and they can help you. Right. And they can help you get all this in order. So as long as you do stuff like that, 2018, I think looks really, 2018 could really change your business's life if you approach it properly. And it's coming real quick. Right around the corner.
Yes, it's coming very quick. Let's finish this with the one question and one answer, which is the number one question. And throughout this 2017, here you go. I don't know. I don't have any idea. I don't know what to do. And I'm very good in selling something, and I'm very good in communicating something. However, I don't know. Ideally, I'm looking for a creative idea to offer some kind of service or something. You know where I'm going. what they should do, the people don't have a clue what to do because they say all ideas are already taken. And hint, hint, they can be a chatbot salesperson on the road and make a lot of money. And on the back, hint, hint, just integrate yourself with us. You're done. You don't have to do it.
Sure.
And then you are already training other people to do it anyway. So for someone who doesn't have a clue how they can start on this.
So if I were to follow your insinuated hints that you gave there, then I would say, what could you do? You could start selling chatbots. And how could you start doing that? Well, that's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Get on a computer, do a little Googling, or I'm sure just in your group, you can find access to training that you provide or training that I provide for your group members on how to, from A to Z, how to do this. So get in some training program, either by Googling and taking your own incentive or by leveraging us who have taken the time to break it down and give you that training material and go through that. Then you'll understand enough to go in and do all your sales. And trust me, you saw, all right, and maybe you didn't see, but I'm sure you probably saw around the end of 2016, the beginning of 2017, you must have saw in your news feeds a huge rise in performance-based Facebook marketing and ads for these Facebook advertisement agencies. Well, these Facebook advertisements agencies and these people doing performance-based marketing have also kind of done the same thing. They've gotten on a trend and they created their own agency, right? It's just them and 1 or 2 other people that are kind of doing sales for Facebook advertising. And then they're kind of either doing that themselves because it's a really small amount of work, or they're outsourcing it to somebody else. And they created their own agency just from knowing how to run a Facebook ad properly, right? So essentially you can understand how to build a bot and either build them yourself or outsource them. You could do that really simple. So that's what I would do if I were you and I was following your hints. So if I wasn't following your hints, well, if I wasn't following those insinuations, hint, be a bot developer, sell bots, all right, which is a good thing. It's an awesome thing. You make a lot of money in 2018. Trust me on that. There's at least $3 billion sitting there that will go to bot development. I guarantee you that in 2018.
$3 billion?
At least, yeah. I guarantee there's at least $3 billion.
You want to be part of a $3 billion industry? This is your opportunity. Link is somewhere in the video, somewhere in the comments. Find and click on that. Okay. Yes.
Right. Now, not following your hints, I would say that the best thing that you could do, not following your hints, is the best thing that you could do also kind of leads to bot development is find out what you're good at, what you're really good at, what you're passionate about, because that's what's going to drive you. Look around your local area that you could actually service and identify a common problem that you could solve based on what you're passionate about. Look around and find some common problem that you see that you could identically just go in and say, okay, I can solve this for you, or I could introduce you to this person that could solve this for you, right? You don't even have to actually solve the problem yourself. Just identify the problem and identify a solution. Whether the solution is you solving the problem or whether the solution is, hey, you have this problem, meet this person can solve this problem. I'm going to hook you guys up. And then this person over here, you're going to kick me back some money because I keep bringing you all these people with a problem that you're solving for. So just figure out what you're really good at, what you're passionate things, and you don't even have to be good at it. Things that are interesting to you and you're passionate about because you'll work harder doing that thing. And then identify some problems that you see in your local area and come up with some solution, either your own solution or solution via proxy and introduction, because that's a great business. That's really all people pay for, is they pay for either entertainment or a problem being solved for them, whether they're hungry or they need some accounting or they need a bot. So,
Jon, thank you so much. As we wrap up, what would you say as the final word?
You better have a bot, man. You're already late to the party, guys. You're already really, really late to the party. So you better just pull your shit together and go ahead and get started with one now and try to at least because if you start now, you can still be ahead. You're going to be behind some people, but you'll still be ahead of a lot of people. So go ahead and start now.
Yeah, thank you so much. And my final word is commitment. So once you decide you want to do something, commit yourself so hard, and nobody can stop you to actually deliver what you actually commit to yourself. Because don't start if you have no plan to finish it. Be a finisher in your life. That's the only way. I don't know anyone who has quitted and they are still successful. Do you know anyone, Jon, quitted as a successful person?
Not really. I know people who have switched gears and are successful, but they didn't quit. They
So never quit.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much, and wishing you the best ever 2018 and beyond.
You too. Thanks again. Love you. Love your viewers. Talk to you again soon.